Welcome to Cult Corner, I'm Atron.
And I'm Inferna.
And today we're going to be reviewing The Fearless Vampire Killers by Roman Polanski.
Yes.
The awesome Fearless Vampire Killers.
Yes, this movie is really awesome. As he said, it's by Roman Polanski, who also happens to star in it as one of the lead roles as Alfred, the sidekick of
Professor Abronsius.
Yes, of Professor Abronsius, played by Jack McGowan.
Yeah.
And they are vampire hunters, basically. They go around places and get rid of the vampires. And, Sharon...
They try.
Yeah, well, yeah, they
They don't succeed too well, though.
They're sort of skilled, but sort of bumbling at the same time. I mean...
This is a horror comedy, by the way, so,
yes.
I mean...
This also stars Sharon Tate, and this was her last role before she was murdered by the Manson family. She plays Sarah, the, bar/inn's daughter.
Yeah.
Innkeeper's daughter, who the vampires are interested in.
Yeah.
Ferdy Mayne is the main vampire.
Yeah.
He
Does a
actually
great job here as the lead vampire role.
Yes, and he looks like the classic vampire you sort of think.
This film is very reminiscent of a Hammer film.
Yes, it is.
And how it's made, you know, how it's acted and everything.
Well, and the makeup and everything on the
It's
vampire.
almost like a parody, actually, of a Hammer film in a way.
Yeah.
You know, but it's better than a lot of the Hammer vampire films, actually, I think.
And also starring in it, even though it's a slightly smaller role, is Ian Corrier.
Who plays the gay vampire.
Yes, the gay, flamboyant son of the main vampire.
Yeah, Ferdy Mayne.
Yeah.
His kid.
Yeah, and that guy in real life was actually a really good friend to Sharon Tate, and her death, like, basically devastated him, and this was his last role, too.
Yeah.
Because he just couldn't deal with it. He was so
very
traumatized.
Yeah.
Anyway, this film is set in the high mountains of Europe. And it starts in with the vampire killers, the professor and Alfred.
They're coming up on their sled.
Yes, coming up in their sled into a small little town type thing. They're obviously hunting vampires because that's what they do. And they're 3/4 frozen through. They pull up to this inn.
Not a good start.
Yeah, they pull up to this inn, like, totally frozen. I mean, really close to death. The professor was stiff.
Yeah.
Which isn't a good sign.
He had a shiny nose.
Yeah. But,
red nose.
They bring him into this inn and get him warmed up and, you know, get some warm food in him, get their feet warmed up, get them warmed up. And as they thaw out, they start noticing that there's, like, 1.5 tons of garlic everywhere. Like, enough to supply any Italian restaurant for quite
everything.
Well.
Yeah, it's just.
And, you know, the professor notices it because, you know, being vampire hunters, you know, they're like, there's
garlic,
a sign.
my boy, garlic.
Yes, there's a sign that there's vampires afoot. And so they get thawed out and they stay at the hotel because, you know, they're figuring stuff's going to happen. Plus, it's really cold out and, you know, they're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And the innkeeper has a daughter, Sharon Tate, who really, really, really is obsessed with baths. And
she's addicted to them in a way.
Yes, and the bathtub that they use is like off the room that the Professor and Alfred have, so she has to go through their room to go and take her bath and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is
kind of weird. Yeah.
But so, you know, at one point she's in there taking a bath and the vampire shows up and he takes her, whisks her away. There's blood and whatnot, and actually there was a problem with, like, the screening of this, because, you know, it was, like, right after she had died and stuff, and...
Yeah, the scene right there was kind of vicious, so they thought it might, like, traumatize the family and friends of Sharon Tate to see her kind of in that situation.
Yeah, so I mean, that caused a little bit of a hoo-ha. But anyway, so he whisks her away up through the sunroof, moonroof, whatever it is.
To Castle Vampire.
Yes, to Castle Vampire with him and gay son. And,
we'll have to see the vampires.
You know, they hear the struggle and they try to get in, you know, Alfred, and then her father actually, I guess, heard it too, because he comes running in, and they notice that, you know, the roof is open, she's gone, there's some blood around.
Some blood in the soap.
Yeah, and so the father goes climbing through the sunroof all, you know, my daughter, bring her back. Well, he ends up getting bit and dying, and...
He tries to go find her, and then he ends up kind of being a frozen popsicle out there, all like, you know.
And vampire, too, because he had been bit.
Yeah, and you can see it's the gay vampire that did it. Because you see him all over, like here and there and everywhere. So.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is really creepy because he was an old dude too. but,
Yeah.
but, you know, they bring him in and, you know, the wife is all upset and da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to stake him, you know, because of the bites, you know. But something doesn't happen and he ends up being okay and he's like a vampire now.
Yeah.
A Jewish vampire.
Jewish vampire.
And so...
And he's always been interested in the barmaid, the blonde. The blonde
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
He's always trying to get with her because if you've seen his wife, you'd understand why. Because she's like this grotesque looking. Yeah.
Tank.
I mean, she's nice, but I mean, yeah, he's kind of a dick for doing that. But yeah, he's trying to get with the blonde chick, and you know, it gets obviously worse when he turns into a vampire because now he's wanting to get really with her.
Yeah.
Drain her blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually, the vampire hunters head off to the castle
Yeah, they're
to go and confront the vampire and rescue the girl. And now Alfred, Roman Polanski's character,
These two, it's surprised these two could rescue anything.
Yeah.
They're very bumbly and just
Yeah.
goofy and
well,
yeah.
Alfred is all moony-eyed and
Yeah,
you know,
he's trying to get with the
wanting
Sharon Tate
Tate's character, which you know we must rescue her
Yes.
because you know I want some of that.
yeah, I want some of that red hair.
But so they go to the castle to try to rescue, and there's some bumbling and fumbling, and you know trying to get into the castle and whatnot, and and you know they finally do, and Roman Polanski's character ends up in the bedroom of the gay vampire, and the gay vampire is making moves on him.
Yeah, he really likes Alfred a lot.
Yes, he does. He really does. Well, you know he's in that castle all by himself, and
Yeah,
he
well,
only has
there's a
old
part.
men
There's a
to suck
part where
on.
he first hears Sharon Tate singing,
Yeah.
and he's drawn to it, and they talk about a ball and stuff, and then
Mm-hmm.
there's a second time where it's going, but this time it's the gay vampire doing the
Yeah.
singing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, all this stuff is happening, and eventually they end up at this ball with a whole bunch of vampires, all, like,
Yeah.
some of them old and crusty,
Yeah,
and some of them...
they just come out of the cemetery right next to the castle.
Yeah, I mean, just tons and tons of vampires, and it says, you know, it's Vampires Dead Man's Party.
Yeah.
And Sharon Tate is supposed to be the main course. But then by now, since these guys are bumbling so bad, they've caught them too.
But they also have like the blonde chick there too as
Yeah.
well, and she's part of the course as well.
Yes, I mean, they have all of these people as their little vampire dinner
Yeah.
thing. And so, kind of goofy manner,
Yeah.
the vampire hunters and everybody, you know, they escape.
Yeah.
Yes, from the vampires. And it's really goofy, actually.
Yeah. And you have what's his name? Igor. The
Oh,
little-
yeah, the Cusco or Cuco.
Kukul in there who he's a henchman. He's
Yeah,
kinda
he's sort of like the
hunchback
Igor
character.
Hunchbacky
Yeah.
sort of character that, you know, does all
Yeah.
their little grunt work for the vampires.
Yeah, and they send him after the pair, and it fails miserably.
Yeah, that fails miserably. That's actually funny as heck,
Yeah, he goes down this little sled to try to get them, and
Yeah,
he misses them, and just
goes
goes
off
down the
the cliff.
hill, and yeah, winds up for food for wolves.
The wolves,
Yeah.
yes. But anyway, so, you know, they escape and whatnot, but there's a little surprise twist at the end.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's a little surprise.
Right. So this is a really awesome film. This is a great time of year to watch it. You know,
Yeah.
during the winter time.
And it's great fun, you know, it's horror, but it has comedy to it. It's just
Yeah.
silly and goofy and cool. And
Yeah, really
Yes,
well
and
acted.
this-
Really well acted.
yes. And one of the rare things you can see Sharon Tate in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So definitely check this out. How many stars are you gonna rate this?
I am going to give this an 8.5.
Okay, I'll go 9. 9
Okay.
out of 10 for me. So definitely check it
Yes,
out if you like Hammer films, if you like horror comedies,
Yes.
and vampire films. It's
Yes,
pretty good.
it's
So
awesome
you're gonna have a
movie.
good time, I think, with this.
Yes. So, Fearless Vampire Killers. And...
We are out of here.
We're out.
Hail the horror.
Hail horror.